Top 5 fits for Maalik Murphy. There's one I did not include in here that Jack brought up that I should have added, and that's USC. California guy, but I guess maybe I'm putting too much into the guys they might already have on their roster. But I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Number 5, Miami. Why Miami? Well, they're in it on everybody else. I mean, they've been tied to Will Howard, to Cam Ward, to I'm leaving somebody out, but like they've had, I believe, Elijah Moore. All three of those guys have had some level of interest or maybe even visited Miami.
Thinking of Dante Moore?
Dante Moore. Dante Moore, all of that. Like they've been down the road on a lot of guys. Would not be surprised to see them, if none of the other ones work out, DJU and Kyle McCord, maybe even in there as well. But to me, Maalik Murphy, you got him for a couple years. With his skill set, that could be very interesting in Shannon Dawson's offense. We'll see, but they're in on everybody, so why not Maalik Murphy too?
Yeah, I mean, that's, I guess, a good enough reason. It's like you like everybody, so why not this guy too? I mean, they're going to need a quarterback, so I guess if they strike out on 3 other targets, then, there's another name out there to go and get potentially. But if you look at I guess on 3 in particular, they have a little bit of an easier interface to work through, sorting things out and their rankings. I like to look all over, but theirs in particular, when it comes to Miami, their top 3 quarterbacks are all sitting there with a Miami logo next to them as their potential landing spot in Cam Ward, Dante Moore, and Will Howard. So, I mean, you would think they'd land one of those 3. The percentages are pretty good. They get one of those guys. But, I suppose if they were to strike out on all 3, or perhaps they suddenly have more interest in a Maalik Murphy than they do a Dante Moore maybe, then, I mean, there's reasons why they make sense. They clearly need a quarterback. They're clearly in the hunt on a lot of guys, and they want somebody very, very obviously. So, why not Miami?
Number 4, Michigan. We don't know about J.J. McCarthy yet, but my thought is he's going to be in the NFL draft, and he'll probably be the maybe 4th or 5th quarterback taken, which will probably all happen in the first round this year. It's going to be mostly quarterbacks and wide receivers, and a couple of offensive and defensive linemen. But Michigan roster is really good. You know the situation there. You can win there. They're not going. They can run an offense that doesn't expect too much out of their quarterback, or can get a lot out of their quarterback. Sharon Moore has made huge strides there as the offensive coordinator, and will probably be the head coach there very soon. But I think Michigan, especially if you want to win and win now, is a really good choice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how he fits in what they do exactly, and I don't know what their depth chart looks like because I'm just looking at this really for the first time. But I mean, in terms of a team who's close and knocking on the door and is probably going to lose their quarterback, like you said, to the NFL draft. I mean, Maalik Murphy would be a great option for anybody. Again, don't know how he sizes up or vice versa, in Harbaugh's eyes, but he's clearly a guy with a lot of respect when it comes to quarterbacks and his own time there in the saddle. So, sure, if they lose McCarthy, then who are they going to be looking at and turn into next year? And the transfer portal is a place that everybody's looking to get better right away. So that would make sense.
Number 3, Auburn. Look, Hugh Freeze is going to get his quarterback eventually. And he's been a guy who's developed quarterbacks really well in the past. Now, he hasn't yet, and they've been quiet on this front, which really surprises me given the fact that quarterback has been so bad there for the last couple of years, and Hugh Freeze in his offense is going to try and thrive through that position. But Auburn, to me, would not be shocking to see them get involved for Maalik Murphy, and maybe it's not the 3rd best place, but Hugh Freeze's off the field nonsense in his past notwithstanding, this is a guy who coaches up quarterbacks and pretty well, and I think would do well, and Maalik Murphy would do well in the Hugh Freeze system.
Yeah, I saw that there's a little talk about about who could possibly fit there, and it does appear that there's a need. I mean, there's a need there for Hugh Freeze and company. He's obviously a guy too that has a lot of experience with the quarterback position. They've kind of been in my my blind spot, Auburn, because they weren't really. I mean, the Alabama game notwithstanding, they were just kind of there. You know what I mean? In this first year with Hugh Freeze, but yeah, they definitely need to attack the portal, and they need to get better in a hurry, and they need quarterbacks. So not knowing their depth chart at the back of my hand, yeah, that's possibly a spot for Maalik Murphy.
Yeah, there's nobody on their depth chart that you would take over. Well, then, I mean, like over Maalik Murphy, right. Honestly. So that's a place he's going to go in, and there's not even a question over to what his status is.
Yeah. I mean, if you only got young guys and none of them are as proven, and then sure, yeah, he's an option for any school like that.
Number 2, Washington. I like kind of the same thing as Michigan, but to me, as far as offensive, prolificness would go, this one would be way better because what Kalen DeBoer is doing there is really unbelievable, and they don't have a set quarterback for next year, although I know that there's some talk about them and Will Rogers, but yeah I think Maalik Murphy and Kalen DeBoer, I really like the skill set Maalik Murphy has. I know it's not like he wasn't perfect in his 2 starts, but the dude reminds me of Dante Culpepper. I keep saying it. He's got a big arm. He's a big dude. He's got traits you just don't come by all that often. And I think with Washington's offense, it could be really, really good.
I mean, they did a great job this past season on offense with a lot of great receivers helping Michael Penix out. He too was very good. All 3 are going to be gone. And they're all gone, and Michael Penix, moving on. And so they desperately need to fill some holes there on offense and at the quarterback spot. So, yeah, I mean, Kalen DeBoer is going to, I think, have a lot of guys eager to play in his system and to play quarterback for him. But Dante Culpepper, I mean, he's a big dude, that's for sure. I mean, he can sling it around. So, yeah, okay, the Huskies. Definitely. Yeah. Man, I'm interested to see on the other end of what their talent exodus does look like off of this playoff team, because it's going to be pretty significant.
Yeah, absolutely. And number 1, on the outside of the playoff looking in, with a quarterback guru running your team and a great offensive coordinator in Brian Hartline and a never-ending string of skill players, Ohio State. To me, if I'm Ohio State, not that Cam Ward wouldn't be my number 1, but after Cam Ward, if you're getting into if I want to maybe build something for a little while here, Maalik Murphy makes a lot of sense. Right now, it's Devin Brown, and then you've got another freshman on the roster, and you got Aaron Noland coming in, who's a big 4 or 5 star prospect, again depending on the service. But you've got those guys coming in. But Maalik Murphy, with his skill set in that offense, I think could be very, very special.
Yeah, he could do some damage there with Ryan Day, and the success that they've had at the quarterback spot's got to be super enticing for any player. I mean, to look at the guys they put in the league, and even some of the backups, Joe Burrow, Quinn Ewers. I mean, even those guys, you can't claim them. I know some Buckeyes fans have tried, but you can't claim them. But, yeah, they've had a ridiculous run of quarterback talent, and this is the spot that when Maalik Murphy wasn't anywhere near the transfer portal just yet. I mean, even a couple weeks ago, people were talking about the odds that he would probably be going in at some point, and this seemed like an earmarked spot for somebody like Maalik Murphy in particular to end up. Yeah, I don't know what the Buckeyes' interest level is. I don't know what they've got up their sleeve. Obviously, if you're willing to walk away from your starter this past season, who wasn't some bum, I mean, in Kyle McCord, a guy who played pretty well for you, but obviously you can get better there. I think that's the thing, is that it's pretty good. You could be elite, though. You've been elite there. You were elite very recently with C.J. Stroud in particular. You want to be elite again. And I don't know, is Maalik Murphy elite compared to Kyle McCord? I mean, I don't think so based on everything that we've seen so far, but maybe with Ryan Day's tutelage and the weapons they've got around and whatnot, maybe he would be that in short order. Obviously a very talented player, and this would be a super intriguing spot because of their success at that position. So, yeah, I'm very curious to see many things, obviously, I say that, but I'm interested. Not just Maalik Murphy does, but what does Ohio State do after moving on from Kyle McCord? What is their game plan here?
Yeah, they haven't